Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Hopefully you guys are doing pretty good. I did see quite a few updates this morning along with the leaked out information on the V-Jump scans yesterday, so I figured it would be important. It's important enough to cover to basically talk about on a video. So with that being said, let's just dive right in and start talking about it. So a lot of the information here is from Dokkan on Twitter, so definitely appreciate all the compilation and gathering of sources. Definitely makes it very helpful in terms of trying to wrap everything up in a summary standpoint. So definitely appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get started. So with the very first set of information, we will get a new Infinite Dragon Ball history stage, as well as the new story event coming around. So let's just go ahead and click on his it's basically the Majin Buu Saga story event. So basically this is, I guess, a new story event is being added to where we are getting new stages and getting the two free-to-play units, Hercule and Goku. I would imagine that's the story event related to that. And in terms of like the Infinite Dragon Ball history stage itself, I don't really know what at this point what the theme will be around that, but either way, it's a good way to add more content to the game. Essentially, it's more or less the boss rush 2.0. Nowadays it's kind of like that sort of setting. The only downfall is a lot less stones than the traditional boss rush stage being added. So that is the very first set of news. And then the actual other stuff, right? The start of the campaign, we pretty much knew kind of all this stuff, but the Hercule Legendary campaign will start on the 21st, so that's a couple of days from now. The JP versus Global campaign, August 28th, so the 28th is pretty much the beginning phase of the 350 million download celebration. The other crazy thing about this, right, and we can talk about it here in a second, but according to Dokkan, and I'll check the actual source here in a second, but he's talking about some sort of change happening this year. Basically, instead of the traditional for every 50 Dragonstones spent you'll get a ticket, along with that it seems like you're going to get a treasure item in the Baba shop, or you can exchange it in the Baba shop for tickets or directly on a character. Now, whether the character list that you can exchange with are basically the featured units on that Dokkan Fest banner, it's up in the air right now. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you have to make a decision on where you want to take the gamble with, I guess, a ticket to summon on, or you go directly in exchange for a character. I'm assuming it's obviously going to cost more for the ticket to get the character directly, and we'll go to the source here in a second and talk about it, but this is basically where the source information is from. But Dokkan is definitely talking about kind of along the lines of what I was thinking, right, when I read this, was you'd certainly have a less cost in tickets to summon versus exchanging for a character directly. But this is something that is certainly new. This hasn't happened in the past, so that's basically the main difference this year for the 350 million download. Now, before we jump into the actual source of that, we do have like an HD version of the V-Jump scan itself. Now, a lot of questions were around the 100 free stones coming out, right? This is basically the section for that. So there is going to be an event where you can basically, I guess, do it every week and get up to 100 total stones. So like with each stage cleared, you get a total of 20 dragon stones. So up to maximum 100, it looks like that is the case here. Now, I'm not going to read through the details here. I don't think it's really that important, but the main point out of this is basically for each stage cleared, you will get 20 dragon stones. And it's saying Maishu Chosen Shitegoke, so that means weekly go through it, challenge it weekly for a total of 100 Dragonstones. So that's looks like how it's going to work out. And obviously these are the free-to-play units that were leaked out, one being the Hercule unit and one being the Goku unit. This one obviously Dokkan Awakens, so that's pretty much the takeaway for that. In terms of the EZA for the LR Hercule, I mean, that's pretty much common knowledge at this point. The campaign itself is starting pretty soon. I don't know the timing of the EZA itself, but that is definitely happening. Now, let's go ahead and go on to the source. So this is basically the source material where Air Dokkan, went to find out about the variation in the ticket summons. So I've got it pulled up directly, so let's go ahead and talk about it right now. So this is, I guess, the V-Jump play vlog in a way, and just has like information related to, I guess, V-Jump related information. So with that being said, again, August 28th is when the worldwide campaign will start. Again, this is related to the 100 Dragonstones. So basically it's saying クリアすると大量の流石が手に入る特別なイベントの開幕決定1週間に1回チャレンジできるプレイ。Basically, again, it's just a reiteration. It's a weekly one-time challenge. 20 Dragonstones per stage cleared, up to a maximum of 100. That's pretty much what that's referring to here. Now, this is where the ticket banner stuff is related to. So, again, based on the wording of this, for every Dragonstone spent, or like regarding a certain within a certain period with the amount of Dragonstone spent, accordingly you will get the tickets, 350 million download celebration tickets, or the ability to exchange for a character with I'm trying to figure out the right wording for this. This is pretty much like the, I don't know, gems, I guess we'll call it, for the worldwide celebration campaign Dokkan Fest. Again, and then this part is just basically talking about the Goku and Hercule units that will have the ability to Dokkan Awaken in the story event. So this is the wording of it, where I think a lot of I wouldn't say speculation, but the weirdness of it is compared to previous years, right? It's really, this line right here is where the extra stuff is coming from. So again, just to clarify, I think based on what I'm reading here, I think in a lot of ways I do agree with Air Dokkan, where it's the way the wording is. You either have the option to get the download celebration Dokkan Fest tickets, or have the ability to exchange it for a very specific character. Now, the question arises, right? One being, how much more is it going to cost to get the exchange for the character directly? Because, I mean, let's be real for a second. It's going to cost more. It's just a matter of how much it's going to cost, because it's a less risk to get what you want instead of having to summon based on RNG to get a couple of characters. So there's multiple ways to look at this, right? If you summon on the ticket banner directly, you're taking a chance to try and get that character. However, if you get lucky, you can pull multiple, or substantially better luck than you would on exchanging for a character directly. So a lot of it is really just risk management in a way. You really have to look at it in terms of, is it worth it for me to just exchange it for a character directly for a higher cost, knowing that I'll get that character, or do I want to take that chance and summon on the banner and hope that I have better luck and better returns based on the same amount of tickets that I would end up using on the summon itself versus exchanging for a character directly. So those are like the questions I have to ask yourself. And the other thing too, right, is is every single featured unit on the banner going to be exchangeable in a way, depending on the cost, obviously, whatever the case is. But also, I think the LRs are also included. Last year they were included on the banner as well as, kind of the unfeatured general pool type deal, right? So are they also going to be available as well? You know, those are things you have to ask yourself, and we don't have enough information at this point to make an assumption here. But you know, the more info we find out, I think, you know, we'll be able to better gauge what option's better in a way. So that's really what I gauge from this, and honestly, that's probably where I'll leave it for now until more info comes out. Again, for people that aren't necessarily looking for all of the you know, like, all right, let me break it down for you this way. The featured unit list has a ton of units. A lot of them are probably units you don't necessarily need. So instead of pulling the risk of wasting a ticket on pulling them, you could exchange them directly for that, right? Now, however, if you're a new player, you could, I think it might be certainly better off summoning directly on the banner itself. So there's all these multiple layers you have to think about before actually utilizing the tickets. Now, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, that's entirely up to you to think about. You know, I'm actually curious what you guys think, so definitely leave your feedback in the comments to let me know what your thoughts are. Outside of that, again, majority of the stuff we already knew about based on the information that came out yesterday. So the only new thing today that I didn't see yesterday was the new stage for Infinite Dragon Ball History. So that's pretty much the extent of it. We got some more clarification on where to get the 100 free stones. So with that being said, hopefully this helped in terms of clarifying some of the information that came out today for you guys. And as always, I do appreciate you watching, and definitely stay tuned for the next one. As more news comes out, I'll definitely try to cover it as much as possible. So with that being said, we'll close out here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.